All right, it's 2:30 Central Time. We're going to get started here. Thank you everybody for joining. We're going to be talking about our noise barriers, quiet sliding doors today. My name is James Thomas. I've been with Noise Barriers for 5 years. I most recently was in charge of our project management and engineering team. I'm now in a Midwest sales role. We're going to be talking about our horizontal and vertical lift quiet slide doors, brought to you by Noise Barriers. So let's talk about what sets quiet sliding doors apart from our competitors. As you can see on the screen, we've got about 9 different differentiators. I think the 3 or 4 key ones to take away today are the number 1, the design options, number 2, the ease of installation, number 4, our variable speed belt, and number 7, that UL control panel. We're going to talk about each of them, and at the end, we'll talk about some miscellaneous items. There's a video involved, lots of pictures, and at the end we'll open it up to questions if anybody has it. We can have a discussion. I can also send the PowerPoint out and some literature at the end too if anybody needs it. So let's dive in. Design options. We're lucky enough to offer quite a multitude of different horizontal and vertical lifting doors in different functions. In the horizontal position, we can offer a motorized as well as manually operated sliding door. It can slide to the left, slide to the right. We also have a bi-parting, and we also can do bi-folding and tri-folding. If you're unfamiliar with our products or what this means, pictured on the right there is a motorized bi-folding door. You can tell because there's 2 leaves on each side, and the motor control box up at the top with that linear rail and the tan color running across the door that the door slides across. In the vertical lift position, we can only do motorized, but we can do a single slab, which is a single unit moving up into the air, or telescoping, where you have multiple units staggered on top of each other that's staggered into a closed position at the top. We have a couple of pictures of those as well, so I'll point those out later. Ease of installation. This is maybe the most important differentiator with us and our competitors. I have a little rendering video to show you guys, and then we'll talk through a case study afterwards and show you exactly what I mean by that. So I'm going to play the video, and I'll see you guys after. All right, so that was a really nice looking rendering. Obviously, it's not a real video, but we're going to talk through a case study that's going to show you exactly what it looks like when the product arrives on site and how it's installed. So here we are at a project in California with our rep Pacific Sound Control. This is done at a police airport facility. So they had numerous sliders on the project, some exterior and some interior. This unit in particular that we're going to be talking about is an exterior horizontal sliding door. Materials arrived on site, palleted, banded, and anything that has electronics was shrink wrapped and covered. So on the left-hand side there, you'll see the slabs banded, ready to be bolted together. In the center, you'll see the linear rail and linear support blocking that'll go up on top of the unit. Inside of that Saran package, is the motor, the wiring, the belt, the drive, all of the sensors pre-fit, tested, ready to be lifted into place. On the right-hand side is a zoomed in close-up of our pallets of slabs. You can see they're banded with bubble wrap in between for security during transport. Just like the rendering showed us, the linear rail is lifted into place using some forks. It's mounted using anchors. The opening is framed, and the guide blocks are installed on the linear rail. It's quite easy, as you can see, to get this all set up. You're going to need about as much space width-wise as your opening. So if you're opening 16 feet, your linear rail will need probably 32 feet or double that, so that the unit can slide past the opening to allow full access to the clear opening. You can see that really clearly in that middle picture. Now on the right, you can see the opening framed up and sealed, the guide blocks ready to accept the panels. Like we talked about, slabs are ready to be installed. We'll start at the top, mounting the first slab onto the guide blocks, followed by the second, and then the third. I was unable to get a picture of the third exterior panel installed, but you can see on the right-hand side picture that's one of the black interior sliding doors that has all three panels installed. So really, when you think about it, there's only maybe 3 or 4 different steps. Parts coming on site, getting the linear rail installed, hanging all the slabs, and then doing some cycle testing to make sure all the electronics function properly, and you're ready to rock and roll. So let's move on to some of the specifics. The guide rail and the block system. This is very different than what's provided in the industry. Some of our competitors offer a trolley and track method, which is loud, clanky, typically is metal on metal contact. What Noise Bears provides is a smooth, linear machined rail that requires minimal maintenance. It also allows for 6-axis adjustability, and all of these parts and components are assembled in our facility and tested prior to shipment. All you have to do on site is lift that rail into place, plug in the electrical, hang the slabs, and it's done. There's no mounting the motor, there's no adjusting or tensioning the belt, there's no fiddling with sensors to get them into stop and start positions. Everything's pre-fit up prior to shipment. The variable speed belt drive is another key differentiator. You can see it in the bottom picture there. It's the white urethane belt running the length of the opening. What that allows for us with the motor is to stop and start and control that door in a number of different functions. We can have the door cycle to a slow speed. We can have it speed up, stop in place, stop halfway, stop if it feels tension. Really, the sensors and the neoprene belt there allow us for a lot of custom applications. And again, it's quiet and it's durable. All of our quiet sliding doors are fitted with adjustable bottom seals. So similar to our quiet swing doors, they're mortised within the bottom of the door, made from Teflon, and can easily be replaced if there's any warranty or tears. It can be popped out without having to take the actual door down. Typically, we would provide a threshold along the bottom of these doors. As you can see in the picture here, we can also have the door have the bottom seal dropped on a smooth, polished concrete surface as well. Safety. This is huge in plants and in theaters. We can offer laser motion detectors that run across the width of the door. You can have them adjustable for different coverage areas or if there's obstruction. We can also program the door to stop in place if the laser is ever broken contact during operation. What this means, instead of typically doors shut down or power down after the sensor's been breached, our door will pause in place and won't be cycled until someone operates the up or down button. This is nice in case there was an obstruction at the top. Sometimes doors automatically retract and go into the up position like you would have at your garage door at home. It's nice about the door pausing in place. In factories, like you might see here, there might be a crane or something that triggers sensors up at the top. So it's nice to have that door pause in place until the operation is triggered. the UL control box. Again, this might seem like a small piece, but this is really critical when you're on site. Our control box is UL 508 certified. To me, I don't know the specifications of the code. What it means on site is there's no additional inspections, electricians, wiring required. The box is all programmed and wired in our facility in Libertyville, Illinois, ready to be installed on the wall and accept site power. What this means is electricians' costs, additional labor time, and installation time. We can also program that box with the linear rail and belt I mentioned earlier to function however the customer needs it. We send out a selection guide that lets the customer select which type of system they want. And if they don't see what they want, we can almost certainly make it happen. So on the right-hand side there in green, you'll see the customer selected an open function, in blue, a closed function, and in red, an e-stop. But they also wanted a partial open, which is that gray button there. By cycling the partial open, it opens the door just a mere 3 feet, just enough for someone to pass through between the two spaces. Now, this might not seem like a huge feature, but if you had a door that was 40 foot wide, you might not want to stand around and wait for the door to cycle into the open and closed position every time you need to just get into the other side of the room. So having the ability to program these control boxes to do partial opens or stop starts or speed ups and slowdowns is actually pretty neat. Again, that selection guide is sent out at order and can be customized pretty much anytime and into any specifications needed. Fire rating. So the slab in our system itself is not fire rated. However, when paired with a fire shutter, we can hit the 90-minute fire rating. So here you'll see pictured, this is at Chicago Steppenwolf Theater. You'll see on the left-hand side our black manual horizontal sliding door with 2 pull handles. And outside of that opening in silver, you can see a second opening that has the fire shutter installed. So if there's any theater specifications or plant specifications regarding fire rating, we can do that in conjunction with a fire shutter. Last but not least, acoustics. It's what we're truly about. The door is tested and can perform to an STC 51. You can see the octave band testing results below. With our years of history, we sell a lot of STC 51 sliders, but we've gone up as high as 54, 58, 60, even up to a 64. Now they're not tested and guaranteed, but with our years of experience with acoustics, we can vary the density, thickness, seals, and weight of the door to get the required STC needed on site. Now these bullets here didn't make it onto their own slide, but I thought it'd be important to point them out as they could be useful when bidding or speccing our products. They can be installed with personnel doors within them. You can think about a horizontal sliding door, like I mentioned earlier, that's 40 feet wide. We could have a man door located somewhere in that width. The doors can be fitted with pneumatic seals. For doors that are vertical lift, sealing becomes sort of an issue. So we have pneumatic seals that trigger when the door lands in the closed position, turns on a compressor, fills the seals with air, and they push horizontally up against the face of the door. On the last slide, I'll show you a picture of a door that has those installed. You can also have the door slide into a pocket. Again, depends based on the sound reduction required. You can make the door in a variety of thicknesses. 4, 5, 6, and 8 inch are standard. Again, depending on what's needed, we can go thicker. Powder coatings available. Typically, when you're getting in lengths over 16 feet, it becomes difficult to powder, and the door will typically be primed. In special circumstances, we can make that work. And the door can be flush or installed with windows. Again, in the last picture on the vertical lift door, you'll see a door with windows. And pictured right here, you can see an example of a telescoping door. So this is an example in a plant where the cycled, I guess you would say, in the resting position, it's sealed and it cycles downwards to allow a crane to move above top, where I believe they were moving steel coils. So just a different application with the same products. So that's all I have for you guys today. Just to circle back on the right-hand side there, this is at Pittsburgh Playhouse, a theater in Pennsylvania. This is a vertical lift door. I believe it was an STC 58 assembly with pneumatic seals. So again, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of that door, there's a sensor there. When that door breaks that sensor plane, turns the compressor on, which starts filling the seals with air, and those seals push up against the face of the door. And you can see there it's got 10 double glazed windows within it. So pretty cool door. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you guys all watching the presentation. If you have any questions or need additional information, my name is James Thomas. Our main line phone number is 847-843-0500. My email is down there below at jthomas@noisebears.com. Again, I appreciate your time. I'm going to try and turn the microphones on for you guys. So if anybody has questions, you can reach out. I'll be available for a few minutes here until I see people leaving the presentation if anybody has questions. Otherwise, thank you and have a great afternoon.